There we go. I'm good, Brampo. Okay, so seeing as the league is starting tomorrow, I thought it best for us to sit down and go, you know what? I want to talk about the coaches. So on the screen right now, you'll see all 16 coaches of the PSL teams. And I want to speak about, I want to rank them. I want to carry on with the ranking and rank them, but I want to do a top 10. Then we can also speak about things surrounding the coaches. But main thing I want to do is top 10. And for this one, I want us to take away the team element from this. So this is purely on who are the top 10 coaches in the PSL by coaching. So I don't want us to talk about how Rulani has Sundowns and a budget and players and Kevin Hunt doesn't what. I want us to think about the guys that how we would rank these guys if they were just coaches, no teams involved here. Watch along for Banyana, of course. Of course. I'm here for Banyana. Banyana gave me my highest viewed live ever. So the breadwinner is breadwinning for me too. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna open up the channels for you guys to jump on. Please note that you have to be following me in order to add your voice to my panels. I think what we'll do is we'll do 2 rounds of panels, and then we'll try to do as quickly as possible to get these top 10 coaches. Remember, guys, it's by coaching, not by team. It's by coaching. Who do you trust the most? Top 10. Okay, let me let in the first panel. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to mute everyone now so that I can just give everyone just give everybody a reminder of who coaches what. Amazulu is coached by Pablo Franco, Jimpi Martin, former Real Madrid assistant coach, Spanish man. Golden Arrows is coached by Ubusmuzi Vilagazi. Richards Bay by Gaetano Tembo. Royal AM by John Maduka. Supersport United is coached by Gavin Hunt. Moroka Swallows, Steve Compella. Kaizer Chiefs, Muli Finzeki. Orlando Pirates, Jose Spanish Guitar, a.k.a. former Plama Rivero. Skukuna is coached by Brandon Schruter. Polokwane City by Duncan Lichesa, Chippa United Morgan Mamila, Cape Town City Eric Tinkler, Cape Town Spurs, Sean Bartlett, Stellenbosch United Steve Barker, TS Galaxy Seed Ramovic, and then of course the most dominant team over the past few years, Mamelodi Sundowns with Rulani Mkwena. Agent 007, how are you doing, my brother?
Yes. Hi, I'm good. I'm just a bit stressed. Government. Deal with government or something else.
Listen, the government is the government, chief. So, how we're going to do this is that I'm going to ask everybody to go through their list. We're going to go from 10 to 1. Né? And I want you to put bias aside. Because I know. We know Rata Spice. Or Rata Spice. So what we'll do is that I want us to put bias aside. And then we're going to go through the top 10 coaches. This is purely on coaching. So, who's your number 10?
Yeah. I think first we should define what does best mean. Is it winning trophies? Is it tactics? What is it? Because some people we know.
You've got a team. Let me put it like this. You've got a team. A random team,
Yeah.
and you need to pick a coach who's going to take them forward. Who are your top 10 people? I'm not going to talk about money. I'm not going to talk about all that stuff. It's a random team.
Okay. I think my 10. Yeah, I think Steve Barker would be my number 10.
Okay.
And
Why Steve
then
Barker?
followed by
We're not doing all of it one by
the
one.
Chess
One by
Galaxy
one.
one. Chess
One by one.
Galaxy. Yes. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think Steve
So,
Barker.
why Steve Barker?
I think he's stable coach. I think he's smart enough. I think he's in the ranks of someone I know. He's more of a development coach than a coach who can win you trophies and everything like that. I think he will keep the ship cycled, and he's able to produce talent and coach talent, and yeah.
Okay, Steve Barker, number 10. I know whenever we do these lists, people are always wanting to go all the way to the top 5 or the top 3. We'll get there. Black Butterfly, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing?
Hola, Chance. How are you doing?
No, I'm good. Season is starting. I want to find out from us, who do we think is the best, the top 10 coaches in the league? Because teams aside, if you were to start a random team tomorrow, who are your 10 options? Who would take this? So who's your number 10 best coach in your eyes in the PSL?
Okay, now I've only got 7. The rest I'm not rating them at all. So can I still run about number 7 somewhere there? Or should we just choose random? Because I won't be able to explain the 10. I've got 7 only that I basically really rate in this league.
I still want to hear the 10, so you can give me a random one then, number 10.
I will give you a random one. We'll go for, what's the guy's name from Chipa? That one I can't even really rate.
Morgan Mamila.
I can't rate him, unfortunately.
Ow.
But let's go with John Maduka for 10.
John Maduka, okay, Maduka ball. Oh, but can you say something about Maduka? Maybe? Black Butterfly?
Like I said, he's just a coach also in the PSL. So because I have to come up with 10 and looking at the faces, he's probably, if I had to choose, he's probably like the last, or not the last, because obviously there's 16 teams, but out of the 10, I'd probably take him. He's been in the PSL for a while.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll go with him. I mean, he's not going to win you cups, but he's there at least. He might sustain your team in the PSL. He won't take you really to relegation, I think.
Okay, no, I hear you. Let me bring Ndlela. Welcome, my brother.
Hola, Uchi and the panel.
Skipan, how are you doing today?
Hayi, mnandi mfowethu.
Masiqalela ku-10. U-10 wako as the 10 best coaches in the league. Who's your number 10?
Okay, my number 10 is the German machine, Sid Ramovic. Sid Ramovic is my number 10. Why? Because of he sold a lot of his quality players, his best players. Like he's the only team in the PSL that I feel like they generate revenue by selling players. So Sid Ramovic last season his team had I think they were number 2 when it comes to defending. Like they had the best defend DSTV Premiership. So I'm waiting to see what is gonna happen with Sid Ramovic because of it. Just so Patrice overs Mosimane. So it's team is gonna. You see, last season they were good when it comes to defending. Yes, they did sign Abo Kabuza, they did sign some players. They still have Abo Bennett Parker, but I'm waiting to see what is going to happen because of the effect of Obas and Mosimane. Surely this season we are not going to see that Gutierrez Galacta. So that's why I'm saying Sid Ramovic is my number 10 right
so
now.
So then this is also away from the team. So when you think about just coaches in general, Ramovic is still your number 10.
Yeah, Ramovic is my number 10, guys. It's my number 10. Yes, however, he still holds the UEFA Pro license, but I'm going to rate him number 10.
Okay. No, I hear you. Let me bring in Section 8. Section 8, how are you doing?
Hola, Prahamba.
No, ngikran, Praham. Just keep on up.
Kukrend. Let's first congratulations Banyana Pra.
Yeah, Dallas khuluma ngayo bewungekho izolo. Bekumnandi mara yes, go ahead. Give them say some words for them.
No, benge ko prize la. Ingijabulisa kakhulu prize Banyana izolo. I was so much happy. I don't know lie.
Okay. Let's get into it.
For
Your
today,
turn.
today. Let's go today.
Yeah. Who's your number 10 best coach in your eyes?
It's Maduka.
Okay, John Maduka. Why John Maduka? And why at number 10? 10 out of 16.
Yeah. John Maduka. Yeah, Maduka is not yet show himself much. But I see he is capable of something.
Ushota ngani Maduka to move up?
I think cabanga ukuthi uyena okumele ifina abadlali bra ngokwami because of lento yo andile mpisane imfake yabo ajeli imdalile inkinga.
Okay.
Uyena ifina abadlali ngendlela adlala ngayo not control by umpisane kanje.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of a delay lapho.
Network pride not well for me.
Okay, no stress. I'm going to come back. We're going to stay on the line. We're going to carry on doing this. Agent 007, you've got Steve Bucket, number 10, coached the Tuks for a very long time, got them back into the league, got Stellenbosch back into the league. Where are we going with number 9? Kara, guys, what's happening with the networks, guys? Are the networks killing us here? Okay, what I'll do is, let's move to Black Butterfly. Black Butterfly, you're going to have to give me another random name.
Yeah. This one is also just there because so we'll go with Ntseki.
Oh, Ntseki. Hey, okay.
There basically for the sake of also just being there, I think because he's probably worked with Bafana before, probably got now obviously that international experience, so I will give him a 9 and hope for the best this season.
It doesn't sound like you trust that. It doesn't sound like you trust that that international experience. But it's fine. Let me bring in Agent. Agent, I think you are on mute there. Who's your number 9?
Yeah, I think I'm going to Sid. Is my number 9. There's a expectation and then there's ability. I think that's what differentiates between the best coaches. Expectation is you have a pro license, so expecting some kind of something. But I think he has failed to live expectations. He has tried to implement the 4-3-3 not well. It's always yo-yo. So I think for that reasons, I think if he didn't hold the UEFA Pro license, I would have held him a bit higher. But because of that Pro license and the fact that he hasn't shown that he's different from someone who doesn't have it, that's why I put him at my number 9.
But then you rank him ahead of Steve Barker, who's shown over years that at least he's a solid
Steve
coach.
Barker is my problem with Steve Barker is, like I said, it's his discipline. For a coach, especially a local coach, you would expect, that since he understands the players, he understands the system, he understands everything, he should have a consistent system. Sometimes he's always jumping between 2 or 3 systems, and all of them have bait. If you have to master one tactic, at least master it and say, not I've done this. This is my 3-5-2 or this is my 5-4-3-2. Strictly and master it. But when it's always have bait, it's not it for me.
Okay, no, I hear you. Let me go to Ndlela. Sid Ramovic, number 10. Agent to Sid Ramovic, number 9. Who's your number 9?
Okay, my number 9, I'd go for Umaimila.
Okay, Morgan
the one
Mamila.
that caused Chipa United.
Yeah. Former CEO
Yes, I do understand
technical director.
I think you are.
Flash Gonke.
Yeah. Whenever they say talk is cheap, I think a lot of the times uyakhuluma yena, like he always points out his opponents, like saying ukuthi, like now we are saying ukuthi Chiefs uzoyidla. Like I wanna see ukuthi is he gonna back the talking that he's been making about Chama teams whenever he's gonna play a certain team is gonna talk. Like I don't know ukuthi is it a way of his coaching, maybe mind games, but I'm willing to see Ebola like being played, because last season he only coached, I think, 4 matches with Chippa United, and he won all 4 matches, 4 matches, and then he went to Swallows. He came to Swallows now, it was the same thing, but he was not a coach. But now they are giving him a team, and we know Chippa Mpeng he's known for being trigger happy when it comes to coaching. So I'm willing to see is he gonna last 10 matches. I'm just giving him 10 matches, right? So that's why I'm saying he's my number 9. I know which okay. So
go on,
Morgan Maimela, to me, is more of like a motivational coach. Like when it comes to talking to players, I think he's doing well. But I'm willing to see will he sustain coaching for maybe 5 games or 7 games. I'm willing to see what will happen to Chippa United. Although yes, they did sign Abo Mulenga, but I'm willing to see what kind of formation suits Umaimila, what kind of style of play that is gonna bring to Chippa United. How we know what Chippa United is all about surviving, but I'm willing to see Umaimila uphethe. Yes.
Okay. Hey, let's hope good Umamila agaphetanga next when Chiefs play them. Let's hope.
I know Chiefs is shy.
Okay. Let me go to section 8. Section 8. Who's the number 9? And there's a delay nyana there.
I think is...
Yeah, there's a delay. Let me...
My number 9 is...
Oh, there we go.
My number 9 is Roland Mkwena, bro.
Yeah, okay, first hot take. Number 9. Why is it number 9?
Yes. Bro, if you can understand Mkwena is never tested, bro. Never tested. Making no mistake. Yeah, that's why Mkwena, he always gets better teams, better players, so never tested for me. I reached him number 9.
Hey. Wait, I need to.
I don't trust him. Serious, bro. I don't trust him.
I know somebody who's gonna fight you just now.
Making no mistake.
Hey.
Yeah. I don't. Mkwena is number 9 for me.
Okay. Let me. Agent 007. Firstly, your coach is not a top 5 coach according to Section 8.
I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'll be in trouble.
Okay, let's carry on. Your number 8 is?
Yes, I think for my number 8, I don't want to talk about other stuff. For my number 8, I'm going for TD Jakes. TD Jakes, my pastor.
Mamila, why do you guys have so much hope with him?
It's, how do you call it? If a student, who's a D. No, it's the thing of if an E student gets a C, you're impressed, instead of an A student getting a B. It's one of those things, I think with this certificate, the C class, he's doing well for himself, he has a knack for beating Chiefs and other big teams, especially Chiefs. So yeah, that's why I rate him,
But then you're gonna put his 8 games over Steve Barker. I think I saw in the comments is the longest
my
serving.
problem with Steve Barker is one. Yes, that's the problem. If you're the longest serving coach, you must have a clear identity. Look at Tingler. We know what system Tingler plays. We know what seed would play. We know, like, if you're the longest serving coach, you must show yourself that I am the longest serving coach. Look at Roy Hodgson. We know he's a defensive coach. We know what Roy Hodgson's gonna produce because he's been there for long. But if you seem like Oslavo Rwana, you just came now, but you've been the longest. Doesn't sit well with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go to Black Butterfly. Who's in number
8? I think I need to go.
Okay, no stress. I'll sub somebody in. Okay, no stress. I'll sub somebody in. Let's see, who can we bring in? Let's hear from Senzo. Hey man, where's that echo coming from? Black Butterfly. We're hearing hot takes here. There's hot takes. There's Roland at number 9. We're seeing Morgan Mamila over Steve Barker. Where do you go with your number 8?
I will go with Steve Kompela in this one, just for the sake of what he's done for Free State Stars. Other than that, yeah, he's okay there at that position.
You don't think that he went to Sundowns School of Excellence for a little bit? Don't you think that he's got a little bit something better than 7 coaches?
No, the only thing he's got better is the English, but we'll see now with Moroka Swallows what's going to happen there and how they par there. Let's see what he's learned, because we can't judge him. We can only judge him. We can't even judge him on Kaizer Chiefs. We'll judge him on Free State Stars, as I said, and maybe that stints at international level as well. So we'll leave him there. He's okay at that position.
Okay, no, I hear you. And yes, Bonabo Rulani at number 9. Section 84 Rulani number 9. Bonabo Mamila were a bit high. Ungera upe when number 8 work.
You see, number 8, I'm going for young coaches, youthful coaches. I'm going for Ufusmuzi Villagas and Maputi Khanye. Down go Golden Arrows. So those two I'm giving them. Yeah, those two I'm giving them number 8. Yes, when it comes to development, I can see they are building Arrows for top 8. Yes, Arrows are one of those teams that they don't have the firepower to fight for a championship. But when it comes to top 8 and also just causing stress to Kaizer Chiefs and some other teams, but I'm giving them number 8. However, last game abangithandanga against Ichipa United, angithandanga. But when it comes to coaching, they still have quality striker laphana lo waseZimbabwe. Who's his name?
I'm forgetting his name. I know who you're talking about. I'm just forgetting his name. Yeah.
Knoxman, yes, the Knoxman, Knox Mutizo. So I'm trusting them to ngabeka number 8 because of there's no pressure with Arrows, and they just sold Opule Mode, but they still have above Velemson and Dwando. They still have good players there. But that's why I'm saying Busmos is doing a great job with the Arrows. There's no pressure with Arrows. It's just being there and just coaching, and they're like everything is working for them. Like if you can see, Arrows only lost. I think they lost 12 matches. They lost the same number of matches as Kaizer Chiefs. So Arrows, I saw them the time they were playing Kaizer Chiefs. They won 3-2. So from that moment, I saw those coaches are doing a great job with Arrows. So that's why I'm gonna put them to number 8.
Okay. I hear you. Section 8. Are we still fine? Are we still here?
Yes, I'm still there.
So tell me who your number 8 is on your list.
Steve Kompela.
Steve Kompela.
Yeah.
Nimthembu stupid Steve. Nimthembu ukuthi no, he went to school there, Mamelodi, and then he's come back. Ngamawaza was going to do something crazy.
It's not the coach, the motivator only.
Oh, okay.
It's a motivator, not the coach. It didn't qualify. Although he has this good motivators on players, but coaching not.
I think this network.
So I rate him number 8.
Okay, I hear you. Senzo, you've been brought in from the bench. I'm gonna give you. Firstly, welcome. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, my man. Please take that line, that 10 Yagal, the previous guy, with him Sapa off.
I was gonna say. I wanted to ask you how you want to handle this. Okay, I'm gonna let you make your 3 picks: 10, 9, and 8.
Okay, so 10, I'm pulled, but I'll give it to John Maduka.
Okay, John Maduka.
Definitely John Maduka takes number 10. And then that's the thing. I feel like he should share it with someone, Duncan Lachisa from Polokwane City.
Okay. So you think of bad Duncan Lachisa is a top 10 coach in the league?
Definitely. Anyone who can get out of the woods is a top 10 coach to me, because getting out of the national first division is very, very tough, especially in South Africa. The caliber of competition is very, very tough. So to do that with a team, yes, Polokwane City has been in the PSL, but they've been out of the PSL for a long time. So for him to fetch people like Paul Moroka, because he's trying to play a certain type of football, shows the understanding that he has. So definitely Duncan Lachisa takes number 10.
John Maduka had to coach Celtic and then coach Raleigh in between very tough situations and did relatively well.
That's why I'm saying for them, that's why I'm saying number 10, they can share it, because both of them have shown previously they are very good. The only thing with Maduka is that Maduka is still, how do I say it? He's still inexperienced. He doesn't know how to handle the media and all the noise. So when there's a lot of noise around him, he does a good job. But when he's left alone to just work with what he has, John Maduka will do miracles for you. And we saw it at Bloemfontein Celtics. And if there wasn't as much noise at Royal AM, trust me, he could have taken out the best out of the team. So John Maduka, Duncan Lachisa, they share that line from that number 10 for me.
And then who's your 8?
Number 8 will be obvious, Tembo.
Kaitano Tembo.
Definitely Kaitano Tembo. He's held a very tough team. SuperSport is not a team that you play with. He didn't do too bad at Skukuna. And we'll see him now at Richards Bay. They played well the last game I saw them play. They played well. Yes, he wasn't coach. He wasn't a coach guy. So this is the first time he'll have a proper team. So definitely Kaitano Tembo gets it, because having a team like SuperSport and still being competitive, after it having a certain identity, and Hunt wouldn't have you in his technical department if he didn't see something in you. So I give it to him. I give it to him, number 9.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go to your 7, because you're taking over first spot. So who's your 7?
Number 7. Am I not 8 now? Because I said John Maduka and Lechisa share number 10.
We can't do ties. Mara says we can't do ties. So I was going on Maduka. Okay, so what are we going to do now? You're going to make Kaitano Tembo number 9, and then you have to choose between Lechisa and Maduka.
8 and 7. Let me take Lechisa.
Okay. So give me your
number
8.
8 is Sean Bartlett.
Okay. Do you trust Sean Bartlett like that?
Sean Bartlett has had experience in the Premier League. Yes, he didn't do well at Arrows. He had suffered a bit, but this is the man that took Arrow, that promoted 2 teams from the NFD. 2 teams in the NFD with a very, not a shaky squad, but he brought 2 teams from the NFD. Name any other coach in anybody's top 10 that's ever done that. Anybody on the panel's top 10 who's done that, name them. If you can't, then Sean Bartlett takes number 8 there.
But once he got to the PSL, man, he hasn't been a standout. Okay, that's fine.
Story.
Let's go to 7 then.
Number 7 will be Truter.
Brendan Truter, okay.
Yeah, his football is beautiful to watch. I think we've all watched it. He's beaten big teams. He's taken Swallows and made the players at Swallows stars. yeah, Truta has a bit of it there, but you saw Amazulu Guti, there's places where he still needs to grow up. But otherwise, yeah, Truta takes that number.
But that fall off that he had, I mean, he had an amazing time with Swallows, and then he hasn't been able to recreate that form.
Yeah, but one season doesn't make you a bad coach, you know? Yeah, one season. If we're gonna take one season, then let's go back to the Swallows time and let's ask that same question. Go say, how did he put Swallows there? Swallows were looked at as a relegation team, and they were fighting for honors. So in the same breath, he had a bad season, especially with the Amazulu. I feel like that was yeah, man, didn't go well. But I feel like this year he's gonna show us flames. He's gonna show us definitely flames.
Black Butterfly, I'm finally back. Give me your 7. We're finally into your hot seats now. I want to hear your hot seats.
7 will go for Brandon Truta. As I said, I think as he's elaborated to say, okay, at Swallows he was okay. He did well. I think Swallows were probably more consistent since their return under him. And then obviously, Kokune, they've been an average team, but look how far they managed to go, obviously, last season as well. He's got average players, he went far enough, and I don't think Sikokune can actually expect more, or their expectation is actually raised since he's been there. So now they can expect more from the team, you know what I mean? Because, like I said, Sikokune, basically, prior to last season, they're okay. But for last season, at least, they showed up, you know? So I'd go for Brandon Truta there as well. And although he's in and out of PSL, but we'll give it to him there.
Okay. No, let's give it to Truta. We'll give it to Truta. Indlela, I'm finally back. Uthini number 7.
Number 7 yawo igolf VW azinihamba nobani ngihamba no John Maduka. Ngihamba no John Maduka, the first coach and the only coach who managed to finish third nge-Royal AM and take Royal AM to CAF Confederation. John Maduka. Although ushama up and down, busy, uyaphuma kwa-AM nini ngibona saka coach, but seems like John Maduka is the only coach that is capable of coaching Royal AM and doing well for Royal AM. During his time, he had Abolitwalo, all those players coming back from Celtic. So John Maduka is my number 7 coach. I think John Maduka is style of identity when it comes to coaching. It's one of those coaches that don't rely on scrappy football coaching. Yes, we do have our coaches that they don't have identity. It's all about the results. But whenever John Maduka, you have to play and you have to show, and like I'm a player that John Maduka, they like he relies more on equality. I'm a strikers. Like the time he was coaching, he brought in the tall striker. I'm forgetting. I think all this match.
Yeah.
Right. So my number 7, I'm gonna give it to John Maduka. John Maduka is always doing well. Whenever you are gonna appoint to coach John Maduka, you are guaranteed results. You are guaranteed something. So John Maduka is my number 7.
Okay.
And another reason is going to a team it's going to a team that is busy going out in and out court. So it's gonna be a hard season for him. That's why I'm number 7. Yes.
Okay. Nkabetsi, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Sure, my brother, how's it?
No, I'm okay, my brother. I'm okay. So you've got 2 choices. Section 8 was here, and Section 8 put in John Maduka number 10, Rulani number 9, and then Steve Kompela number 8. Do you want to start from scratch and quickly take us through your top 8 before going to 7?
Yeah, mainly because of that Rolani. So I'd rather start from the top 10.
Okay, so quickly take me through your 10, 9, and 8.
So my 10 would be Sean Bartlett, mainly because of his work, right? Where he's promoted 2 teams already. And I feel like he's grown over the years, and he's become a better coach. So, and my 9 would be Kaitano Tembo for the work he did at Supersport. Especially he showed like he can handle the pressure when he coached like in the CAF confederations with Supersport, right? So he'd be my number 9. 8 would be John Maduka, mainly when Celtic went through the whole process of transitioning to Royal AM, he managed to steady the ship. So it shows that he's a good coach, right? And he can work well under pressure as well.
And then who's your 7?
Brendan Truter. Mainly because of his work at Swallows, so he showed that he's a coach that can actually implement a philosophy into a team, make players believe in the idea that he's trying to do. He's actually one of the first coaches that to play with inverted fullbacks, right? And when he actually came up with the idea, many coaches laughed at them, but look at what he did to Swallows, and look at them when they came into the PSL, right? They didn't struggle that much, although they took like a dip towards the end, mainly because of lacking the quality of players. But yeah, he would be my number 7.
But should he be up this high? I mean, he had that amazing season with Swallows, but then from that point on, he's been very up and down.
But what kind of teams did he coach, right? If you look at, he made it to a cup final last season with Skukuni, right? So that for me is another up, right? If you look at how Skukuni was struggling, right, and how he managed to come in, steady the ship, and then eventually get the team into a final, that shows that he's a good coach, right? Not just any coach can actually be able to achieve that.
Okay, no, I hear you. Senzo, let me come back to you. Who's your number 6?
Ooh, this one is starting to be tough. You see, from 6,
let's go.
Now it's getting tough. So, Cabo Zondo, definitely number 6.
He's not in the league, technically.
Why?
Remember, he's not a head coach. This is for head coaches. The current head coaches.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, bring back my Maduka then. Maduka will take that place.
Okay. Current head coaches. That's why I don't want to hear about the old ones. Tell me why you put Maduka to number 6 when he was initially not on your list.
They said Maduka took a team no one was expecting to go to the CAF, and CAF is South Africa's biggest competition. Not every coach can do that, and it has taken some people many years to even get even half, not even where he's gotten, and he's done it in a short space of time. New players. So, John Maduka will get that one. He's lucky, man. He's lucky. Otherwise, he wasn't on the list.
Hey, when you're going deep in your bag. Come on, Sunday, you're going deep in your bag. Let me bring in next up, Black Butterfly. Now you're number 6. Black Butterfly. Now you're number 6.
Number 6 will go with... Steve Barker.
Okay, Steve Barker.
If you look at the team that he's using, he's playing with a relatively young team. All the players are young players. You know, at Stellenbosch, he produces basically. He's working with what he has. Since they've come into the league, they've been consistent. So I'll go with him.
Okay, no, I hear you. Indlela, number 6.
Hey, now it's starting to become tricky. Number 6, number 6, I'm gonna go for the new coach, Pablo Franco Chimpi.
Okay.
He's my number 6. I saw it during a pre-season. I think they were playing Kaizer 10 Premier's Cup, and I was impressed. They were badlalang corner. I saw what whenever you're gonna appoint a Spanish coach, you are guaranteed to have results. You are guaranteed like success, like the same way Orlando Pirates did with Joseph Vieira. So I was hoping I'm gonna put him something number 5, but I think number 6 suits him because of he's gonna play the STV Premiership. He's gonna coach for the first time here in South Africa. So, however, he's the former Getafe coach, is the former Arsenal coach Real Madrid, but I'm gonna put him number 6 due to experience of coaching here in South Africa, because of coaching with the STV Premiership PSL is different from coaching at Tanzania. Yes, he did coach Simba, but coming here is gonna coach Mazulu. They have a owner that is impatient. Uzungu is very impatient. We saw him firing about Benny Makata, about Brendan Shooter in the past. So looking to see what he's gonna do Lapano Mazulu. So that's why I'm gonna put him number 6.
Okay. No, ngiyakuzwa. Next up is Unkabet. Tell me who your number 6 is.
My number 6 would be Steve Barker.
Okay.
So for the work he did, so he's more of a development coach for me. He's shown that he can actually build and rebuild teams. You look at the work that he did at Tax, right? Produce players like Abo Antile Jali and all that stuff. So even when you look at his current Stellenbosch team, it's a stable team. Year after year, he's able to rebuild on a tight budget. So yeah, that's number 6.
Okay. Sanzo, top 5. Right now we're in the top 5. Right now, I wanna hear names that would win you trophies, man. Who's your number 5? Because I'm hearing a lot of guys who are there. They're stable, they're trusted, they develop, they do all that stuff. Now we need to get into the big leagues now. Who's your number 5?
Yo, and then you give us a league where there's no winning coaches. But my number 5 was definitely, this one was tough because I was fighting between 2 coaches, but because of current success, I'm gonna go with Kompela.
Okay.
Kompela, definitely. He has coached every team in South Africa that needs to be coached in terms of size, except for Pirates, but in terms of size, in terms of different football, in terms of entertaining football. Steve has done it all. He's coached in the under-23s for Bafana. Even if you listen to Junior Khanye, he still raves. A lot of players still rave about Steve Kompela because of his understanding of football. We've seen it also when he was at Chiefs, that it's just that he didn't have the power that he could have. But given the power, Steve is not just a good talker, but he's good at leading his lines. And everyone wanted Jali. But only he could talk to Jali, and Jali listened to him. So you must understand, Swallows have a very, very ambitious project, and they couldn't have gotten the best coach to help them. So for me, Steve will have to take it because he is a public manager. He's a public manager. You don't need to give him the top de la creme, but just give him under de la creme and he'll do magic. So Steve Kompela.
Okay, I will see if the top de la creme, he comes from eating the top de la creme. We don't know if he still has, Boroto and jam sensibilities right now when he comes from caviar. But we'll see what's going to happen. Black Butterfly, who's the number 5?
5 will go with, it's between Eric Tinkler and Sean Bartlett, but let's go with Eric Tinkler because I think he's the last really that he's been successful is probably at Orlando Pirates. So I think we'll go with him. Since then he's obviously created an expectation. What was the expectation of Cape Town City, but then obviously nothing much is coming from Cape Town City. They're just basically staying in the league and remaining consistent. They're not like the contenders or anything, so I'd rather go with him.
Okay, I hear you. Dlala, top 5. Mastala ngo 5. Uthini ngo 5 wakho?
If number 5 is down to achievements and hardship, so I'm gonna go for Sean Bartlett, guys. From helping Cape Town Spurs, which was once EI's Cape Town. It's one of the biggest achievements, guys. Who PSL, one of the biggest achievements for Sean Bartlett. Remember, before Sean Bartlett took over, those Cape Town Spurs were once fighting for relegation. NFD, they were fighting for relegation. Then you can go and check the log, guys. The season before this one, they were fighting for relegation for the past two seasons down there with NFD. So playing playoffs and relegating Imarispeck United, beating Imarispeck United, they're holding it down like everything, like the way Begadla Corner, it showed Uguti is more of a experienced coach now. He's ready. Remember, he was once assistant coach Gamazinho la Kaizer Chiefs. So Sean Bartlett is my number 2, guys. It did like wenze umsebenzi omuhle lapha by promoting Cape Town Spurs. Cape Town Spurs bekusele kancane ukuthi iye ku Motsepe Foundation the season before this, and then they did appoint, and then after appointing Sean Bartlett, everything changed kuleya club. He brought on Star Pirate lo mfana lo bekadlala ku idiski challenge. Yes, uRadio Pane. He brought
Radio
uRadio Pane. He brought
Radio Pane.
yes, he brought experience abo Clayton Daniels, abo Neze Ari. So that is one of the coach we should look out like this season going to good DSTV Premiership, and I doubt it's gonna get relegated. So for Yena, I'm gonna put him here go number five because surely I know it's gonna reach top 8 in the Cape Town Spurs. The Cape Town Spurs guys, they have all the resources. The only thing that was lacking for them is just to get back to DSTV Premiership. And finally, Sean Bartlett is the right coach. The right coach to take them here is the right coach that is gonna keep them here. So Sean Bartlett is my number 5.
Okay, I hear you. Nkabetse, who's your number 5?
Number 5 would be Coach Steve. So for me, the most unluckiest coach in the PSL, mainly because of the teams he has chosen. Even the current team that he's coaching now, not sure if that's the right team for him. But in terms of being a coach, being able to produce players, being able to produce like a proper system into a team, that's one of the top coaches for me. So even if you look at Sundowns in terms of their high press, right, that's something that only got introduced when Coach Steve got into the team, right? So for me, I'd put him there on number 5.
Okay. Hey, you guys have guys trust Coach Steve. Senzo, top 4 now. Top 4. Who's your 4th place?
Easy. Steve Barker definitely takes it. Number 4.
Steve Barker, number 4?
Obvious. He's number 4. Coached University of Pretoria, Amazulu, Black Aces, Stellenbosch. All of them were playing unbelievable football when Steve was there. They played direct football. I don't see a top 5 without Steve Barker. So, Steve Barker, longest serving coach currently in the PSL, came with Stellenbosch from development. He's made Stellenbosch into a topic we're discussing very soon, that they are starting to own Western Cape. From nobodies to one of the best teams, not just in the PSL, but also development-wise in terms of the players that they produce year in and year out. And I don't know, someone was saying Steve Barker doesn't have an identity. Steve Barker has an identity more than most of the coaches on the PSL. So, in terms of a coach that can take any player or go to any team and make magic, Steve Barker's that. I mean, who's better than Steve Barker besides the top 3 I'm going to pick after this?
Okay, no, we'll hear. Let me go to Black Butterfly. Who's the start of your top 4? Who's number 4 for you?
That one would be Sean Bartlett. As I said, I think he's shown what he can do.
Wow, 4.
From obviously promoting 2 teams from NFD is a lot of work. And as I said, I think we've seen how difficult it is in that league specifically. If you look at the playoffs, he's shown basically how he used tactics, and even if you listen to how he implemented the games when they were playing the playoffs, he knew exactly what he needed to do to make the team win, you know what I mean? So I'll give it to him. And then, like I said, I think even if we look at when he was working at Kaizer Chiefs, I think he was more influential than Arthur Zwane even was. So I don't know how he even got ahead, or Arthur Zwane got ahead of him. Because clearly for me, if you look at that development team and even the role that they played as assistant coaches, he was more influential for me than Arthur Zwane was actually. So I believe that he should have actually had given the opportunity, because seeing like we also just gave it to Arthur Zwane, we might as well have given it to him had he been persistent and just stayed and they had faith in him as well. He's got the international experience. He's played around the world. He's got the relative coaching experience, or he's gaining it. So he's one of the prospects, far better prospect than what we have in terms of young coaches who are new emerging coaches. So I'd rather give it to him.
Okay, I hear you. Dela, who's your number 4?
Hey, my number 4, I'm gonna choose Eric Tinkler.
Okay.
So I'm gonna choose Eric Tinkler, my number 4. I think Eric Tinkler has been one of the consistent coaches we have with the STB Premiership, and when it comes to like winning important matches, Eric Tinkler does show team how to win important matches. I saw them beating the Chiefs, I think, twice last season. Like now, my team, like the way Eric Tinkler plays, there is a style of football, and the way and how he managed to develop some of his players, to mention abo Mayo, and also ne-track abo Gonzalez. Like the way adlala ngakhona, it's not about coaching the team, but also it's also about developing the player whenever you're playing for Eric Tinkler. We saw how Uhopla was under Eric Tinkler Super Sport. They managed to beat Orlando Pirates, I think, finals the MTN 8. Like the style of play Eric Tinkler siyabonakala, ibhola adlalayo, you can tell ukuthi la team Eric Tinkler, like he builds from the back, midfield, defense. Like team Eric Tinkler is one of the consistent coaches. And that's why I'm gonna put Eric Tinkler number 4, because I know he's gonna compete. Team he just made a lot of signings now, and you can tell the signing he made to Eric Tinkler is not about the chairman choosing players for a coach. Eric Tinkler is more of like he's always telling chairman, this is the player I want you to get for me, and you can clearly see with my player our signing that are gonna suit Cape Town City. So Eric Tinkler is my number 4.
Okay. No, I hear you, Eric Tinkler. I don't know. I feel a bit down on him, but we'll come back. Who's the top 4? Who's number 4 in your top 4?
So my number 4 would be the Paris coach, Joseph Rivero.
Okay. Spanish guitar.
Yeah, so I'll state my case, because I know a lot of people would most probably disagree with putting him on number 4. But for me, right, for me, he hasn't proven himself. One, the team that he was playing with, he didn't sign the players. So one of the aspects that we would look at for a top coach would be a coach who would identify specific players and have a specific system, right, that he wants to play in or with, right? So for him, the players that he had were players that were signed for him. And when I looked at Pirates playing last season, he's a ultra defensive coach. By that I mean, if you look at how he played, right, he was more concerned about not conceding and relied more on individual brilliance from people like Abu Saling and all that to carry the team. So for me, he hasn't been tested, although he won 2 trophies. Yes, shows that he's a calm coach, can deliver results, but yeah, I think he hasn't been tested enough for me.
I'm hearing that, but you've got him so high at number 4.
Yeah, so the reason why I have him that high, you look at the coaches that are beneath him, right? What have they won, right? So most of them, it also speaks to like the quality of coaches that we have in the league, right? Because he has a top squad and was able to at least get 2 trophies, right? It shows that he's a coach that can really work under pressure, especially like coaching at one of the top teams like in South Africa. You can imagine the pressure that came with the job, right? People call him the plumber and all that, but he for me, like how he speaks, you can tell that this guy really knows football, right? He's a very calm coach. Well calculated, but in terms of his tactics, right, he hasn't been tested, so that's why I'll have it at number 4. But he has the attributes of a winning coach, but yeah, he hasn't been tested.
No, and this season is going to be very important because we have to see whether he'll be able to carry on, and it's not a one season wonder type situation. I see the message from Senzo saying he's on a call, so I'm going to skip him. Black Butterfly, we're in the top 3 now. Who's your 3rd best coach?
Okay, number 3 would go to the Spanish guitar,
Okay.
For the mere fact that obviously, if you look at, he's basically given Pirates hope again, and it's basically the coaching in terms of how they've done. When we get to this level, we're talking about accolades now. What have you achieved? What have you won? He's won a trophy. He's won trophies for Pirates. He's revived that team, even to a point where even us as chief supporters, we aren't still revived. We're still struggling to revive our team. Yet they've remained consistent now. They've shown us, obviously, since he came in, that they are back. They are happy people. They are loud again, as usual. Now they're getting their voices back. So, and obviously that's basically up to him. And if, I mean, Pirates isn't Pirates of yesteryear where all the players are household names. Like every player, now some of these players, okay, you hear about them just because they're Pirates. As the Chiefs, we're still complaining whether this one is Chiefs material. They're Pirates. You don't hear people saying, is this one Pirates material? People are just playing, players are playing. They're becoming household names, even at Pirates. And they're becoming bigger players. And obviously that's basically all up to the coach, how he's been handling Saleng and them. You know, all these players are coming up. Yes, they were average players before, or they were good players when they got to Pirates, but now they're becoming household names. Not only because they're playing for Pirates, but how he's basically putting those teams together. And like I said, it's down to accolades. He's revived the Buccaneers, so you can't take anything away from him.
Okay, no, I hear you. Jose Rivero, ranking really highly. And Lala, who's your third best coach, Elikin, for you?
Yo, well, you know, number 3. Yeah, number 3. I ngizonda. But number 3, I'm gonna go. I want number 3. I want number 3. On number 3, ngizohamba noThanos. I'm going for umlifinseki. Number 3 ngihamba nomlifinseki. Ngihamba nomlifinseki.
Number 3. Okay,
You know why?
Why do you love him so much?
Because of Umlifinseki is a former Bafana coach, and we once saw it in the past. I'm a former Bafana coaches, about Steve Compel and about Pitso. Whenever after coaching and fumbled Bafana, after like they give them a team, they actually succeed. We saw it with Pitso. We saw it with Steve Compel. So I'm gonna give it to Umlifinseki because of Umlifinseki currently is holding the one of the hottest seats when it comes to football here in SA. He's coaching Kaizer Chiefs, and I kind of felt like I'm a player Kaizer Chiefs the time they were coached by Atazwane. He was down to if ever Atazwane was more of like he wants to play ama players work. MTC, and I could see ukuthi ama players Atazwane bawamhloniphi that much. There was this match he was promising ungezana inqindi, he was like ungezana uzomshaya. So Atazwane, I felt like ama players bawamthatha as umngani wabo. So coming in Umlefinseki, it's more of like we can see Umlefinseki uJuba, but there's no way Zwane nabo Shabalala, even nabo Mode are gonna disrespect Umlefinseki. This guy once coached Bafana, so I'm gonna go for Umlefinseki due to equality. Chiefs they tried to sign guys. The Chiefs did sign abo Mode, abo Mtanzana, abo Castillo, guys. We do know those players are quality enough. So if Umlefinseki, maybe tactics are not gonna go well, but the Chiefs that do have individual brilliance. So Umlefinseki is my number 3. Umlefinseki, yes, it doesn't have experience coaching go DSTV Premiership, but I'm telling you, it's not gonna win the league, but it's gonna cause problems. I'm telling you.
No, I hear you. Hey, Maragati Kulmin, but I'll come back. Who's the number 3?
Eric Tinkler. So I'll go with Eric Tinkler. So he's won cups with teams that are not very fancy teams. Yeah, so he shows that he's a coach that can win you something. So top 3, yes, it has to be a coach that can at least win me a trophy or something.
Okay. I'm seeing a comment here. I'm waiting for someone to say Mamila. Mamila is already there. Mamila is already there. In some of the list. Let me see. In one list, because there was somebody who said him earlier. Let me go. Senzo, are you back? I think he's still on the call. Okay, Black Butterfly. Top 2. Who's the number 2?
My number 2 would be Rulani. As I said, now we're talking about accolades, right?
Yeah.
We need to show whatever we want as a coach to be in this top 3, top 5 even. Now, I don't know what the previous one where Nseki fits in there. I think he described him more as the best technical director because he was talking about him signing but he hasn't achieved anything. So for me, obviously, Rulani, whether we like it or not, whether you have Kwal or not, the results are there no matter. He's the Pep of the new aspiring Pep. Obviously, hasn't reached, he's got the trophies. So firstly, he's there. And yeah, there's no reason for him not to be in anyone's top 3.
But do we give him the trophies?
Because I mean, and then you can take
do we give him the trophies? Because co-head coach, what's his name, was in charge. Umangoba was in charge.
Look at it in the sense. Sundowns have been a delight to watch since he's taken over. They play this. Yes, Pitso was there. Pitso put in the foundation. But if you look at how those guys have been playing, those guys have been playing European football in Africa now. The players, even he's developing the players. These young talents, he knows how to nurture them now. He knows how to deal, even if it be it that he's learned from Pitso or whatever, he's implementing. The thing is, he sustained what Pitso has implemented. So even if you use that reasoning to say, he found the team or he found a winning combination.
But wasn't he the assistant coach, though? Final word was Mangoba until, halfway through last season. That's the only time he was head coach.
There's a reason why they gave him the head coach position. They gave him that status because he was always, even if you look at how there were 3 coaches there, but he was leading the pack. So now you look at it in the sense that he's the youngest of the 3 coaches. He has the most say in those 3 coaches. So he was actually leading the whole team. That's the reason why they wouldn't have implemented him there if he didn't earn the respect of his technical team. He's got the respect of his technical team. Yes, he can be very arrogant at times, etc. But if you look at it, he's a leader because why were these 2 other adults who were his co-coaches? They were listening to him.
Okay, no,
he was leading the whole thing.
I'll give you that. But I think during that time, Mangoba was the final say. He was the head coach. He only got demoted last season, midway through last season. But it's fine. I'll give it to you.
And you must remember, he's the young one coming up now. He's one of the prospects for the youngest coaches, and he's competing with all these timers who've been in this thing forever. Played football before, old footballers. He's running the show now at the moment.
But what do you say about the 2 years when he was proper head coach? So the last time he was proper head coach, it didn't go so well. When he was the final say, was Pirates, and then I'm not gonna count cheaper. It was Pirates. So that was the last time he had final say. But anyway, no, it's fine. I'm gonna go with your reasoning. Let's keep him at number 2. I'm gonna bring in Ndlela. Who's the number 2?
Number 3, I'm gonna go for Rulani Mukwena. Rulani Mukwena is my number 2.
Okay.
Why I'm saying Rulani Mukwena is my number 2? Rulani Mukwena only, this is the first time he has won a league. And Sundowns has won a league for 6 times with different coaches. The first 3 times they won it, I think Pitso won it 4 times in a row or 3. And then after they did have the technical team reshuffle, we had Mangoba Mngiti, who was the head coach, senior coach, and stuff. So I'm gonna go for Rulani Mukwena. Why? Because Rulani Mukwena only won. Rulani Mukwena had high expectation. We expected him to win a CAF, Nedbank, MTN, but he won the league. So it shows Rulani Mukwena is not that best coach in the league. Yes, he's one of the best. Yes, we can give him that by winning the DSTV Premiership. But he failed to win a CAF. He failed to win a Nedbank. He failed to win MTN. So Rulani Mukwena only has 1 trophy here. And with Steve Kompela gone, the motivator. Yes, we know Steve Kompela was the motivator of the club. It's one of the experience. So if Roland Mokwena is only left no Mangoba Mnit. So Roland Mokwena is yet to prove himself as the best coach. He once coached the Orlando Pirates. He didn't get the chance to coach the Chupa United. So Roland Mokwena, this is the full season is gonna get like to prove himself, to challenge like for Wonke ama trophies. Because of that season, he did fumble. Because sometimes guys fumbled that season because of they have all the players, but they didn't like but they still failed to win the cap. They still failed to win MTN8 Nedbank Cup. So that's why I'm gonna say Roland Mokwena is my number 2. I still wanna say more of Roland Mokwena. I'm not convinced by winning the Premiership. I expected Roland Mokwena to win ICAF Champions League, maybe MTN8 Nedbank. That's when Lapo Benzo okay, he is the number 1 coach. But I'm not convinced pre-season friendlies. Yes, they did win against top European teams, team Dutch league, but I'm still not convinced. I want to see more because of now Steve Compella is gone.
Because that's why I want to ask you. The question why I'm asking about Roland Mokwena is because as a head coach right now at Sundowns, he's only been proper head coach for, half a season, right? Or, it's just over half a season. So do we put that half a season over, let's say, Eric Tinkler, who's done it consistently for years, and maybe he's not winning things, but he's also not at Sundowns. But you get what I mean? Do we say that that half a season that Roland has been ahead?
That's the problem. That's why I'm saying number 2. Like manje, I had 2 decisions to put Steve Barker number 2 or Roland. So Roland, this is the first time, like we can see now, he's doing his squad reshuffle. He managed to let go of Abokaping, Aboralani, like some of the players, and now is the only time that we see Roland making major decisions. Mamelodi Sundowns. So that's why I'm number 2. I'm not convinced. And even Eric Tinkler, if you can take Eric Tinkler and give him Mamelodi Sundowns, yes, he's gonna win night at least. Because Mamelodi Sundowns is like a drawing book. It's like by a trace that they're tracing from his success last season because of already they have won 6 leagues. So for them it's very easy to win the 7th league now. Unlike any other coach, you can take Uran to maybe Maritzburg, let me say maybe Golden Arrows or let me say Cape Town City. He won't even win the league. So he won the league because of those 2 coaches that he have, Steve Compella and Mangoba Mnisi. So now with Steve Compella going to the other side, going to Moroka Solos, we are yet to see Roland Mokwena ke manje. Amahlatha phelile or akubekho ukucasha. But for the league, yes, I win. But if only I win Champions League, that's when I could say Roland Mokwena is the best coach here in South Africa.
Okay, no, I hear you. Nkabetse, who's the number 2?
My number 2 is also Coach Roland, right? I do feel like he's one of the coaches that's hated. But if you look at his football journey, right, he's one of the coaches that has a lot of has consumed like a lot of football knowledge. He's worked under Kevin Johnson, he's worked under Coach Pitso, he's worked under Steve Compella, right? So he's a coach that has really developed over the years, right? And you look at his journey, right? He was at Pirates, took over the team, did not have any preseason, right? The team, if we are honest, right, the team wasn't doing that bad, right? It was just that fans got frustrated, mainly because people underestimated him, right? But if you look at how Pirates played last season and what Roland was trying to do the season that he played, they play similar. He played with a back 3, which people questioned, right? Coach Rivero played with a back 3 last season. People didn't question that. But with Roland, he was let go because of trying to introduce new ideas, new things into the team, right? Then you come to his Chippa United. He only played 1 game, and that 1 game was against the Gavin Hunt, right? Where he played to a draw. And if you look at how he actually managed to get that draw against Gavin Hunt, where he pinned his strikers against Gavin Hunt's fullbacks because he knows that Gavin Hunt can play with fullbacks, right? That shows that he's a coach that can be asked questions and a coach that can actually respond to questions that he's been asked, right? Then you go to Sundowns. He takes over Sundowns, and if you look at how Sundowns played last season, I believe for me, Sundowns were more arrogant on the ball and dominated more once Coach Rulani took over the team, right? I see someone says he concedes a lot, right? But it's not Coach Rulani, it's the philosophy of Mamelodi Sundowns, right? Even under Coach Pitso, we used to concede more goals because of how we play, because of the arrogance that we have on the ball, right? For me, he's a brave coach and has proven himself that he can win trophies by bringing home the league last season, right? And I hear a lot of people saying, yeah, he had Coach Steve, he had Coach Mangoba. Even Coach Pitso had 2 assistant coaches. Why didn't someone question that? Yeah, but he had Mangoba next to him. Any good coach is always going to do well if he has a good background staff, right? If you look at most of the teams in the PSL now, they have 2-3 coaches behind the coach, right? So why can't Rulani have that? I believe that with more patience, he's going to achieve more. And yeah, that's
I think
my
question becomes, and it's not just, I don't want to frame it as hating Rulani, but isn't it unfair to rate Rulani as a head coach ahead of a Tinkler, for example, when Rulani did very well, but it's been half a season, if that makes sense. So like the resume is not to say that Rulani is not a good coach, but when you put it against what other guys have done as a head coach, because this is a head coach conversation.
Yeah, but
is it
if
fair
you
to rank him higher than?
So if you say do we rate him over Tinkler, right? Then the question becomes, you are talking about the league. He has won the league, Tinkler has not, right?
No. I'm talking trophies. I'm talking longevity. So I could even put Steve Barker in that conversation where I go, Steve Barker has had 9 seasons. So if I've been average, I've had 9 seasons of being average, whereas you've had 6 months of being great. But we don't know what it's going to look like in 9 years. So Tinkler has a trophy with a lesser team. You get what I mean? That's why that's what I'm trying to say. That Tinkler, I think Tinkler won. What did he win? And I'm not saying that Tinkler's amazing. No, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that Tinkler has a trophy with a lesser team. Mangoba Urlani took over a team that is already successful, already won leagues. Takes over for the 6 months, but it's only now where he's been able, even through this preseason, to stamp his authority on the team. Hire, fire, do this, do that, do that. So do we give him credit for that too over? You get that? That's the type of question I'm asking, where you get me. Even last year's league win, it's a 6 months league win. So already there was somebody there who had won before. I need to get us over the line, obviously, and that's not a small feat. But only now can I say Rulani, head coach full-time. Steve has got what? I don't want to make it about Steve, but he's now making the changes he wants. So do we give him that credit over the longevity of another coach? Sorry, I'm saying a lot.
Cool. So we look at Steve Barker. Yes, he's been in the league longer. He has more experience, but hasn't really won anything. Hasn't really achieved anything in those years. You look at Tinkler. He's coached Pirates. We tend to forget that he did coach Pirates. What did he achieve with Pirates? And he took over a very strong team from Roger Disa. But also,
but it's not six years of leagues, though.
No, but he also failed under that, right? And that was a very good team. A team that had players like Abotawu Matlaba, Abotawu Khanye. He failed with that team, right? So, also, but if you look at Sundowns, right, my argument would be, who coaches the team? Even under co-coaching, even under Coach Pitso,
that's unfair. Isn't that unfair? Because still it was Mangoba's final word. So if
but we are talking
word.
No, but we are talking as a coach. Part of a coach's job is to go
head
on
coaches.
I
want us to stick on head coaching. So he's only been a head coach 6 months.
No, but as a head coach, right? If you're saying, I am a head coach, right? And let's say, for example, we are given a duty, right, as co-coaches, right? And I'm the one who's always on the training pitch. I'm the one who's doing the training drills with the team, right? If, for example, if it was not Rulani who had more identity to that team than Coach Mangova, they would have said, okay, cool, Coach Mangova, you will be the sole head coach, and Coach Rulani will now be our assistant coach.
But that's unfair, though, because Gavin Hunt has assistants, Eric Tinkler has assistants, Arthur Zwane has assistants, Sean Butler has assistants. Why don't we give them credit for things too? That's why I want to make it the head coaching, because in as much as he trains the team and stuff, if Mangova said no, it's no. When Urulani says no now, it's his word. He's already shown that all of the changes that he would have made as head coach, he's making them now. But back then he wasn't the head coach. So can we give him credit for that, and then like assistant coaching and training the team? But it becomes unfair if that makes sense.
But that
I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah, but that becomes speculation in terms of saying, if Coach Mangova said, for example, right, if he said, we are not going to play this way, right, that becomes speculation.
No, it wasn't speculation. Sundowns said it. Sundowns gave out a thing that said, we're going to have co-head coaches, but Mangoba's the final word. And then when Mangoba was demoted, the statement said that Rulani is now the final word. So Mangoba was the final word. Now Rulani is the final word.
So what I mean in terms of speculation, right? I mean, yes, it was put out like that, but can we actually confirm and say, right, in between their journey as co-coaches, Coach Mangoba said, for example, this many times no to Coach Rulani, we can't do this.
No, I'm going by what they said. I'm going by the titles. So the title is head coach. I don't even know if Gavin makes the decisions at Supersport. I don't know who makes the decisions at Chiefs. I don't know who makes the decisions at Tinkler at Cape Town City. All I'm saying is the head coaching. That's why I wanted to focus on these 16 faces up here who are said by their clubs to be their head coaches. I don't know what Rulani does on a daily basis. I just know what Sundowns told us. And then when Mangoba was removed, Sundowns told us that Mangoba's being removed from making the head coaching decisions. It's now Rulani. So whether, I don't know, we all don't know what happened in boardrooms and stuff like that. We're giving him credit, but I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying whatever. Oksalayo at that time, the responsibility fell on Mangoba. Mangoba had the responsibility, and also if anything went wrong, his head was on the line, just as Rulani is now. My only argument is 6 months of that responsibility versus X amount of years of that responsibility. Is it fair to compare the two? Because maybe Tinkler had one good season where he won a trophy, then he had 8 very bad seasons or average seasons, and then now we're comparing it to one season of very good. Like, it's the same with Jose Rivero. Why would Jose Rivero not be above Eric Tinkler in your list if that was the argument? Because then Jose Rivero, one season, head coach, 2 trophies, Champions League. Why is he not ahead of Tinkler, for example, in your list right now? That's what I'm trying to get to.
So if you look at that 6 months, that same coach still achieved way more than any other coach. Name any other coach besides Gavin Hunt that has actually won the league.
No, but Rivero's got 2 trophies. 2 trophies in Champions League. That's amazing for Pirates.
But I'm talking about the league, right? Which is
Mangoba. Mangoba Pitso.
He's not a coach. He's not a coach that's part of that 16, right? We're talking about those 16 coaches.
Yeah, well, okay, no, you can say it like that. That's fine.
Yes, in terms of his 6 months at Sundowns, he's won the league already, right? He's qualified the team for the Champions League. In the past 4 years, the team has not reached the semifinals. He reached the semifinals, although he bowed out of the semifinals, but he got knocked out where? In the semifinals. Name any of those coaches in those 16 that has actually reached the semifinals of the Champions League.
Which coach has taken over a team that's already done that? So which coach of the 16 got the chance to take over halfway through a season of a team that was already in the Champions League, already had a considerable lead in the league. So I can do the same thing if we ask those questions, because then I could. If Gavin Hunt took over Sundowns and then won in the first 6 months, do we call Gavin that? You get what I mean? Do we say Eric Tinkler, if he took over 6 months, team is already inside and doing all that stuff, do we call him? Do we say that Gavin did that? You know?
So
I'm trying to get there.
So I just want to answer someone in the comment. I said besides Gavin Hunt, so that takes out Gavin Hunt out of the equation, right? But in terms of you guys are only looking at the period in which this guy coached. You don't look at,
because that's the only time he was head coach. That's why the parameters say that.
Let's look at how the team plays. Why aren't you questioning and saying, but Coach Jose Rivero has only been here, for example, for 1 year?
Because he was head coach during that year.
Yeah, but even that 6 months, Rolando was also head coach, and he still won the league. He still achieved
Rivero
the
was head coach for a year, though.
Exactly.
I'm trying to get to that. So Rivero winning 2 trophies in a year, taking over a team from the beginning. That's why I like Rulani doing it now is him as a head coach. You get what I mean? Like it's him right now as a head coach. So him winning the league is different. So we can't compare the 6 months to the year, for example, and the situations of the team, because Chiefs doesn't play in the Champions League. So Mulifin Seki will never take over a Chiefs team that is 6 months into the Champions League, for example. You get what I mean? So I'm not saying he's bad. Again, I want to go back and say, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying when we look at the bodies of work, right? Rulani's body of work as a head coach is small. At this current moment, right? It's small.
I would disagree. Yes, the period in which he's been a head coach is small, but what he has achieved is way more than all those coaches have achieved in their longevity, right?
So then does Steve count then? Should Steve move from number 5 to number 2? Because he was there, same period. What does he do?
He was an assistant, right?
Yeah, they were all, no, he was okay. No, let me do this. We'll keep it. Let's finish the top 10. I think I've wasted 2 people have jumped off. Apologies about that, guys. Indlela, who's your number 1?
Hey, nyabuza uya-argue nale ndoda. Guys, uGulani Mukwena, what he achieved Mamelodi Sundowns, this is the same thing that Brendan Truter did at Cocoon United. Brendan Truter, he was appointed halfway through the season and managed to reach a final and also qualify for a CAF Champions League. So, bago same level nabo Brendan Truter, abo Rulani. So, coming into my number 1, I'm going to Kevin Hunt, because Kevin Hunt, I won't say is my number 1, and I'm mentioning his part because I feel like Kevin Hunt is the best coach of all time. Like Kevin Hunt is proven, right? So my number 1 is gonna go to Joseph Vieira, Orlando Pirates.
Okay.
Why I'm saying Joseph Vieira? Like Joseph Vieira, guys, pulled one of the greatest heists when it comes to DSTV Premiership football, PSL football. Okay, Joseph Vieira didn't have even the right to win in Nedbank Cup and MTNH. Coming in as a new coach without a proper preseason, like this coach, guys, pull a heist and won 2 cups under Mamelodi Sundowns, like the team that was expected to do well. Like no one thought Orlando Pirates is gonna win MTN8. No one thought Orlando Pirates is gonna BU number 2 is gonna win in Nedbank Cup. Like it's gonna beat Mamelodi Sundowns 3-1 kuma semi-final. So Jose Vieira came there to Orlando Pirates and washinja. Like you can tell he took the team from Umandla Ncikazi. Yes, this is the same team that reached CAF Confederations Cup final, but his style of play, it wasn't the same under Umandla Ncikazi. And the way Jose Vieira is playing now, is the way he's signing, is the way preseason against Zangakon, and the way he managed to finish his second spot. Because for me, I thought with the second spot last season, it was gonna go to Kaizer Chiefs, but unfortunately, the way team got Jose Vieira was always like being consistent. The way they were scoring goals, like they were scoring for fun. Like the way season basis of Pella, the Pirates were just scoring for fun, guys. So that's why I'm gonna go for Jose Vieira. I feel like as a Spanish coach coming to Africa, coming to DSTV Premiership League, where already there's a team, there's a big team there, there's a Sundowns, there's Kaizer Chiefs competing, and when you come as a Spanish coach, and then you come there and implement your style of play and develop bonagala, you win trophies, like you win matches, you qualify Orlando Pirates to ICAF Champions League. So Joseph Vieiro, guys, is the best coach we have here. It's unfortunate ukuthi azange awin best coach because of akawinang league, but there isn't us achievile under coaching Orlando Pirates. Like, guys, that's the best coach we have. I'm telling you, like that is the coach that you should look out now. Really coming to league, I fear from ama team that's with the Pirates, but one of the matches that I'm like expected this season is Orlando Pirates versus Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates versus Amazulu FC. My reason being why I'm expecting, I want to see a match Orlando Pirates versus Amazulu FC because of these are going to be two Spanish coaches for the first time since Obama, two Spanish coaches going head to head here with the TV Premiership. So that's why I'm saying Joseph Vieiro is one of the best coaches we have. Is my number one. But Joseph Vieiro is my number one.
Okay, no, I hear you. Jose Rivero would have loved to see Kevin, but I understand your thinking behind that. Unkabetse, who's your number one coach?
Gavin Hunt. That's a pretty obvious choice, right? He's the one that's been there, done that, achieved everything. But my question to Ndlela is, so if you guys are saying Rulani only achieved this in 6 months and Coach Rivero won 2 trophies, Tinkler has been coaching in the league more than him, has won trophies as well. Isn't he then?
That's the point. That's what I'm saying. But that's the point I was trying to get to, and the reason I was asking about, it's not just Rulani I've asked about on this live, because that's the balancing you make. So if Tinkler took Cape Town City to 1 trophy, right, for example, to 1 trophy, and we counted it on 1 season, we look at Eric Tinkler a certain way. But then if I win 1 trophy and I have 8 average years, right, you would look at me differently. You get what I mean? Then when it comes to Rulani and Coach Jose, for example, when Jose comes in, I'm going off of the head coaching. When Jose comes in to Pirates, right, he is the head coach from day one. I think he didn't even have a preseason. And he was judged and called a plumber and all of that stuff and won. The responsibility, even if he lost, was going to fall on him. The issue with the Rulani conversation is, for the first 6 months, if Sundowns lost everything, you guys wouldn't say Rulani. You would say Mangoba. You get what I mean? I don't even want to get into the talk of Sundowns, the structure and all of that, because that's a muddy conversation. But in terms of responsibility, if something went wrong in that first part of the season, Mangoba gets fired. You get what I mean? Mangoba takes the responsibility then. So in the last 6 months, when Rulani comes in, we balance it out. I have the same conversation when I speak about Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta won the trophy, FA Cup, in his first 6 months. It was great. But we forget that I forgot who it was before him, laid the groundwork in that first season. So when he finished 8th, everybody went, yeah, but it's not, you get what I mean? So I'm not saying it to say that Rulani is not good or hasn't been coaching or hasn't been done all of this stuff. I'm just saying that he took over. Now, at this point where he had head coach, he took over a team where, honestly, he couldn't make the changes that he wanted to make. He couldn't do the things he wanted to do. We see that now because he's changed everything, right? So how much credit do you give Rulani for that league win when he couldn't make those decisions if he wanted to? And at the time he took over, he couldn't even sign the players that he wanted to, that he wanted in his style or whatever. Now we're seeing him as the proper head coach come in. When has come in, Muriri has been moved. He's brought in a guy from King, the not the first division, the SAB team, Triple Black or something, his team there, he brought in that guy, he brought in the coach who's now the set pieces coach, but it's going to be one of the coaches under him. He's making the changes in order to completely play what he wants to play. So I don't give him as much credit for the league win, not saying that he doesn't have any credit. But now when you put them next to each other, when you're talking about longevity, so maybe I've done it for longer in different circumstances, that should maybe count to my advantage. The reason why we put Gavin Hunt so high is not because he's won all the leagues. It's because when he won the leagues with SuperSport and he won with Bidvest, which was at the time unheard of. Nobody else has done it like that, right? So that's why we put him there. So it's
So my question would then
that.
be so my question would then be which player did Coach Rivero sign then for Pirates? Which player did he
No,
sign?
he took over. He had to.
It's the same situation.
Let me put it like
But,
this. No.
the same-
But also, Rulani's been at Sundowns for how long? I argued about Atazwani. The reason why I ranked Atazwani so lowly, for example, for what he did was, you were there for 3 years as assistant. You've been sitting there for 3 years, and you know the team, and you know the players, and you know all the stuff, and all of the other things, right? And I don't want to have this convo, but I'm giving you an example. So Urulani has been there, has done everything, has whatever. Now he's taken over, he's won a league. It's a team that has won the league by far over the past 5 seasons, if we want to get into that convo, right? 16 points this season, 16 points the season before, 13 points the season before, right? That Sundowns has won the league. A lot of people have been joking and saying that you could put anybody in that seat and they'll take over, right? I'm saying, I don't even want to count that. I'm saying as a head coach, he's been there for 6 months as a head coach. If Sundowns lost 10 games in the first 3 months, we wouldn't even look at Rulani. You wouldn't even look at him.
So let's make things easy. The previous coach at Pirates, right? Zimbabwe, right? He also won a trophy.
Yeah,
right?
one trophy, yes. No, he won a trophy. Yeah.
Yeah. Another coach comes in also
and improved.
They
got 2 trophies. So then, are we going to play that game? So do you want to say,
now,
what did Sundowns win the season before?
So when Rulani wins, right? We don't say, we want to say, but the previous person would have won.
No, I didn't say that. That's why I didn't want to have that convo. I didn't want to have that convo. I wanted to have the convo of the head coach responsibility. Nah? He's only been that for 6 months. I don't even want to have the convo. That's why when I started this, I was like, guys, let's not put the teams and all that into this. Let's go, as the head coach, what have you done? And I'm not even saying all of the other stuff. All I'm saying is some of the coaches have had a longer time in order to fail and get better and do all that. Rulani is starting now. So it's like me comparing Arteta to somebody else.
So maybe let's define what has a coach done, right? Do we mean in terms of longevity in the league, or do we mean
when they've had the responsibility of head coach? That's why I even said when last time Rulani was head coach, he was at Pirates, and fine, whatever happened at Pirates happened. I think that we lost it where you were like, Urulani was coaching the team and was this and this. I'm like, Oksala, at that time, he wasn't the head coach. That's what because we don't know what Gavin Hunt did when he was under Mang. We don't know what Eric Tinkler did when he was under a different coach, or what responsibilities. It would be unfair to add those things because we don't know. But as a head coach, whatever.
Okay, so then, if, for example, we are looking at longevity, right, that crumbles like a lot of the lists, right? Because in some of, I'll make a typical example. In some of the examples, someone looked at the Amazulu coach. No one knows what he has done.
That's what I asked.
At least Rulani, we know of that 6 months, right? And what he's achieved in that 6 months.
That's why I was asking. If you followed when I was asking people their top 10s, I would ask them, why is Steve Kompela ahead of this person? Why is Pablo Franco ahead of John Maduka. Why? It's to get those, to iron out those things too, because it's not just about Urulani. It's also, as you rightfully say, when we say, Pablo Franco is ahead of John Maduka, but John Maduka has been steady in the league for a while. Are we just saying it because Pablo Franco's coming in with this this qualification? When we say Sid Ramovic is ahead of somebody else, I've been asking these questions because I also want to iron those things out, but I can't dictate the top 10.
Okay, I'll just make like a typical closing on the Rulani case, right? My final say would be a Mamelodi Sundowns team that's coached by Coach Rulani plays way more than a Orlando Pirates that's coached by a coach Jose Rivero, right? Look at how his team played in the Champions League against big teams, against an Ahly, against a Wydad Casablanca, right? That for me shows a big coach. Coach Jose Rivero will say he will play in the Champions League.
Exactly. You see the point that I'm trying to make to you. So I can't say in the Champions League, Jose Rivero is better than Rulani. Because even if Rulani had 6 months, it's still more than what Rivero has. And we're only going to see Rivero next season. That's what I'm saying. One of the point you're making now is my exact point. You get me?
Then I will agree with you that in terms of longevity, right, he hasn't coached that much. But if you look at the philosophy he's applied, right, in terms of how the team has played, there's a lot that has changed, right? Playing with.
But do you understand what I'm saying, though?
I fully get that point. So, him with the philosophy that he's implemented, right, and the way the team played and how the team was actually dominant, he was actually unlucky to actually lose, to get knocked out of the Champions League, right? But I will understand that when it comes to Coach Rulani, people will always question. But for me, I
question everyone. I question everyone.
I trust that this season he will prove like a lot of haters wrong, and for me he'll still stick there on number 2 based on how I saw his team playing, even if the period was short, right? How I saw that his team playing, right? And I hear a lot of people arguing that if it was someone at, for
I don't even want to have that convo. Honestly, I don't want to have I don't. That's a muddy conversation because people like to have it in one direction. So
exactly.
if somebody takes over Sundowns, but then I could ask the question: if Rulani took over SuperSport tomorrow, would he be able to do what Gavin does? And then it becomes a whole muddy. It becomes a different thing.
No, but I get your point. Yeah.
Black Butterfly, you were left with one person there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gavin Hunt. That's obviously the obvious choice. Based, as I said, the top 3 should always be based on accolades and what they managed to get. But one thing I want to say about the Rulani point, which they have been urging to bring this point across, it's the same thing like with Pitso. Pitso went the Arab state, wherever he was, right? He took them in the middle of a season. He took them up, right? Are we going to take that away from Pitso to say he's not a good coach? Based on that alone, we know him. We know him here. We know him here, right? Those people don't know him. And now the same thing is happening that we're doing to Rulani now, where we're trying to, or they taking away the fact that he's the one that maintained and took the team to that height. When you look at Rulani's style of play, you can see the difference between Pitso and Rulani's style of play. And that is not Mangoba's, because Arrows have never played that style of football. These people are playing that Pep type of football. So that's what I'm saying. And Rulani, I think we're all basing it on current form, not on history, what you've achieved before. Had Gavin Hunt been with, had we had this conversation when Gavin Hunt was still at Chiefs, we wouldn't have rated, we would have said Gavin Hunt based on his days at SuperSport, but we wouldn't have been basing him as a good coach while he was at Chiefs, right? So I think that's where we probably also misunderstanding each other, where we say currently, not based on what you've done.
But even with SuperSport, with Gavin, currently Gavin hasn't won anything in a very long time.
But you know what I mean? You don't need to win it, but he's basically shown that he can take SuperSport back, because SuperSport, did we expect them to finish where they finished end of last season?
But then how do you quantify that? You get what I mean? Versus somebody who's won That's my whole point of this. So do we say that Gavin,
everyone has
because
got
he did
Gavin
it?
Hunt.
Yeah, that's
Everyone
why.
has got
Because
Gavin Hunt as
why?
number
Why do
one
we have
now.
Gavin Hunt there?
Yeah. Because we know his qualities. Yes, we're looking at what he's working with. Because sometimes you don't need to. You look at what a coach is also working with. Right? So now, for us also, we need to ask ourselves the simple question: why is it that Rulani was taken from Sundowns to Pirates while he was assistant? So they went and made him head coach at Pirates. Management can see this guy's quality and where he's going. And
but that's speculation, because Atazwani had the same thing.
I know, let's leave
It's the same thing. But it's the same thing. No, but I'm going with your line. Your line. Your line. But management saw something. But they saw something.
Yeah, they see their own thing. But now,
that's what I'm saying.
Look at it in this sense. Now I'm getting to my point now. So Ivan Khoza saw something in this guy. Then he saw, okay, this one, there's something more that he's doing. This is not only Pitso, right? He made him head coach. Yes, it didn't work out because it goes back to the conversation we had the other day, Rulani, and what he's capable of. So the players didn't have that respect. So look at it in the sense of how Rulani has grown and he's still learning.
But that's why I don't want to have that conversation.
And better based on current form.
I don't want to have that one because that one, we can do it for everyone. So then do we say the same thing about John Maduka was given a chance and gave them a little bit of a boost? Brendan Truter, who finished third. John Maduka finished third in his first season with when Royal AM first started. Brendan Truter took them, he promoted them and then took them to third in the league. We don't have that conversation about him. Like, if we want to do that, let's not just do it for Rulani. That's why I wanted to keep the conversation smaller. You get what I mean? Because when we start doing that, it then becomes, growth is hard to quantify, and growth, because then we have to ask the questions about, are the structures at Sundowns the same as the structures at Chiefs, the same as the structures at Supersport? Are the backroom people the same, or this or that? And I don't want to do that because it becomes unfair, if that makes sense. So I wanted to go.
I get your point.
Yeah, that.
But my thing is, let's not take the goodness and the greatness of.
No, I would never. It's just
to be there on the basis. Yeah,
but we're comparing him to other big people.
Based on 6 months. Yeah,
yes.
I'm saying based on 6 months, right?
Yeah, it's
but
unfair.
Now I'm saying it's not only the 6 months, because for a coach to take over any team that Pitso has left, let's say Pitso he left Sundowns, or any team actually, the coach leaves, for you to stabilize that team and maintain and go that far in CAF, right?
But you guys are having hypothetical convos. Let's not have, because then we can't do it for everything. Can I say, would Rulani go to Chiefs and win the league? Right? So what's harder, to maintain something that's already built or to build something new? That's what I'm saying, that I don't want to have that convo because that's a very tough, that conversation becomes very tough, and that changes a lot of rankings because maintain what Gavin Hunt does at Supersport. That's tough. Selling players every year. You get what I mean? I don't want to do that. And I feel like whenever we have the Rulani conversations, we only give it to Rulani, and we don't want to have the full one. So I'd much rather not have that convo and just say, in the time that he's been head coach, he did very well. But am I saying that Rulani in this ranking, because he did 6 months and he won the league as head coach, even Pitso, when Pitso won that CAF Champions League, he wasn't happy with it because even all of the Arabs were saying that, and he even told them, fine, I will go and win a Champions League next season to show you guys that any questions you had, right, valid, invalid, I've done it. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to, even Pitso, when he speaks about that first Champions League with Ahly, he still gives it all of the thing. But then that second one was the one where he was like, this is me now. It was just me. Whatever conversations you guys had, I was in charge. You get what I mean?
So technically, it's hypothetical speaking, because then we want to see what Rulani is going to actually bring.
That's what I was saying. That's why I was like, I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm saying that Rulani is at the start of his head coaching, quote unquote, head coaching part of his career.
And his journey is still long,
Exactly. So to put him above somebody who's been doing that for a while, no matter not even above, to compare them and say that Eric Tinkler, who's been coaching at Pirates, coaching at this one, coaching at that one, coaching over there, and the trophy he won is less than, it becomes a tough convo because I'm like, we don't know what Rulani is still meant to do. You get what I mean?
And look at it in the sense as well, where we're comparing, because now we need to also get to the point where we say, look at Rulani's age, and he's competing with these guys who've been there for years, and he's playing with the big boys. So let us not also then undermine the potential.
Tinkler was young when he started.
Because where were they? Yeah, but look at him now in comparison to even Tinkler when Tinkler started coaching. Look at the age.
You see, then I'm going to say at Sundowns. Then when I say
prospect that we have.
At Sundowns.
When we talk about development, we need to talk about coaching development.
I hear you, but development at Sundowns versus development at Supersport versus development at TS Galaxy is very different. So that's why I don't want to have that convo, because if we're having that convo, Rulani has developed in some of the best development you could have, the best development in the country. We don't know. Then we can go hypotheticals and say, hey, what if Atazwani was at Sundowns? What might happen? What if I don't want to do that, and I don't want to shade Rulani?
I can confirm it would definitely not play out.
We don't know. We don't know. They said Atazwani's MDC team was incredible. I don't endorse it, but that was what people said.
I agree with that.
So if he was in another place and sat behind Pitso and got to learn and in a structure, and he wasn't thrown in headfirst in a burning building, maybe he did. But I don't want to. That's a tough convo. That's a messy conversation.
Yeah, no, agreed. But then my number one, definitely Gavin.
No, Gavin for me.
Survived even Super Sport now. And we all waiting. And even in the comments I saw, we're waiting for your top 10. Even without explanation, we'd also like to get yours.
Oh, you want to get mine? Okay.
Yeah, everyone is waiting for it.
Agree.
Even waiting for it in the comments.
I agree with you when I say that in the league, there's, for me, a lot of placeholder coaches. There's guys who are there and they're okay, but they'll never move towards a certain place. So for me, I would say that let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in some places, it might be a little bit weird because I'm going off of what they've done before. So I'm going to start with, at number 10, I'm going to put Caetano Tembo just because as one of the placeholder coaches, he's done very well to stabilize the team. So it's been very stable when he's been there. Like, he's not necessarily going to push you down to fighting for relegation, for example, but he's not going to take you up to the heights, like the top heights. Then at number 9, I would put, let's go with, let's say Ramovic. I'll go with Sid Ramovic. Another one who's semi-stabilized the TS Galaxy. At number 8, that's when I would bring in, let's say, Brandon Truter. It might change. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Brandon Truter would be my number 8. Another coach that's come in, very high highs with Swallows, but ever since he Swallows time, we haven't really seen him get back to those heights. So he's been struggling with that. At number 7, I would most probably have, out of the head coaches, let's say Steve. Mainly based on what he used to do. He was very good at taking average teams and taking them just below. I've spoken about the tiers of coaches that I have. Steve, for me, is not a top-tier coach. He's a tier with Tinkler and them, where he keeps everything. When he coaches Free State Stars, they will be number 6, and they will stay number 6. They're not going to move up and down or do anything crazy, but they'll stay at number 6. So I'll give him that. At number 6, I'll go John Maduka, strictly because in the job that he was coaching, Celtic was an okay team in the mold of like your Steve Kompelas, but he really showed his class when they merged those teams. So he had to, one, deal with a squad that was double the size of any squad in the PSL. He had to deal with the moving from KZN and doing all that. He had to deal with integrating Real AM's players into his team. And he finished third, right? Now, from then, it's been a bit late, but I'd still keep Maduka pretty high because of just the way he's moved at that time, right? Then at number 5, I would give... I don't rate Sean Bartlett that highly. I would give Steve Barker, or maybe I'll make Barker number 6 and then Maduka number 5. Barker, again, it's dealing with all of the adverse situations of every day. I'm selling my best players. I have to find new players. I have to do all that stuff. So if you want to stabilize the team, there's those coaches. There's a lot of them that fall into that tier where it's like there's names you can call if you've got a new team. If your team is struggling a little bit, you bring him in. He'll stabilize it. He'll need time. He'll change things in the back. I know he took a lot of the tax coaches that he used to work with, but you know that at the very least, if you're going to lose players, he's going to keep you, reasonably okay. Top 4, I'm going to go Eric Tinkler, another one who's jumped around a lot, but he's one of the higher tier of that. Obviously went into I think it was the Confed final with Pirates. He's won with Cape Town City, if I'm not mistaken. He won with Cape Town City. Another one, he finished 4th last season, to show you that I don't think Cape Town City is going to go all the way up and do crazy things, but number 4 is going to be maybe the limit of what he can give you, which is very good. At number 3, I'll put in Urulani Mokoena. And the reason why I'm putting in Urulani Mokoena at number 3 is that from what we've seen, he's been part of the big machine of Sundowns. And like you guys said, maintaining it is part of the thing. But he took over halfway through the season, won the league, great. I'll put him in as one of the ones that I think will be a star player, star coach. If I'm being honest, I'd probably put him below Eric Tinkler, I'd say, because I think the other guys, in what they've shown us, they've shown the tier that they are at. But then Urulani, I'd put him at 4. Yeah, around 4. And then number 2, I'd put in Jose Rivero, simply because from the season that he had, he didn't have the luxury of having known Pirates that deeply before. So when he arrived during the season, he didn't even have a preseason. So to take a team from that to the Champions League and also win the 2 trophies is incredible in my eyes, because you're coming in blind. It's a lot of the Chiefs coaches that we used to say, guys, they did very well. The European guys they used to bring in and they used to win. I'd put him in that because that shows that at the very least a coaching acumen, right? 1 trophy, maybe an MTN 8 where it's like four games, but 3 games is incredible. It's easier to do, but then to win the Nedbank Cup, to win this other trophy, the MTN 8, to get into the Champions League positions over guys that have been there. Gavin Hunt has a lot of experience. He might not have the resources of a Pirates, but Gavin Hunt has experience in the league. He knows the outlook. He knows what to do. So to get ahead of him in your first season under the pressure, under the lights of Pirates, I'd give it to Jose Rivero. And then number 1, it has to be Gavin Hunt. But Gavin Hunt, I'm cheating because it's also because of what he's done in the past. He's top tier in terms of it's unfancy teams, it's teams that don't have the resources, the teams that don't have all the stuff, and he's going, hi guys, I'll lead you guys into top 3. I'll win the league previously. So he's got a pedigree. And that's why in terms of the head coaches that are currently in the league, I don't think anybody touches him in that regard. I don't think there's many coaches that would be able to do what he did. Hunt failed dismally at a well-resourced team. He couldn't sign players. It was transfer ban. But also, Chiefs, guys, let's not talk about Chiefs like that. I've spoken about Hunt before, where I said Hunt thrives in situations where it's 5 men, it's him, his assistant coach, his goalkeeper coach, and 2 other people. He gets to make all the decisions. When you go to Kaizer Chiefs, you're not going to get that, right? And he signed the contract, it should be held against his head. But the one bad season with Kaizer Chiefs does not touch the 4 league wins with SuperSport, 3 in a row with SuperSport, and also with Bidvest, right? So it might be a minus, but it's not so much of a minus that it overshadows those 4 things, right? So I think that's my top 10. What do you, Black Butterfly, hit me. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think we're relatively all in the same space. The only thing, like, that's why I'm thinking now, right? If you look at, because I'm a Kaizer Chiefs supporter, you're a Kaizer Chiefs supporter. You look at all of those, all those coaches, and then you ask yourself, in Chiefs, who would be able to bring that? Who would be able to bring out the best in that team? And I'm not going to lie, it would probably be Spanish Guitar.
Yeah,
if I look at that,
I was going to say.
He's the only one who could probably.
And you know why? The Spanish Guitar, Pirates is very similar. It's only now that they're trying to open for him, but when he arrived at Pirates, it's very similar. And I like a lot of European coaches because they get here and they're just doing the job. You get what I mean? Like, there's no drama and politique. It's like, guys, I need to win. I need to come here and win. Ivan Khoza is like this. I can dream and ask for him to be different, but he's not going to change. So I need to do the job. So I think, Jose Rivero would be the one.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think I'm going to log off now.
I'm also going to close. I'm also going to close.
One question, please.
Yes.
Sometime can we have a discussion about just developments and the youth developments structures that we have in South Africa, be it all these MDC, not even the MDC, a bit lower than that, younger teams, the younger developments and development structures that we had, bringing your Kaizer Chiefs, your IX, your especially School of Excellence to identify what's actually happening there and where we're going with this. How do we better our structures, or just have a discussion around our development?
No stress. I'll make it one of the topics possibly next week.
Guys.
I'll just look into it. Thank you for joining me, guys. I'm also going to close now. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Thank you for the gifts. Today was one of the more debatey shows. But I love it because you get to see, even with the panel, that we really do think football very deeply. If you haven't followed, please follow. Monday to Friday, 12:30 in the afternoon, I'm here. Monday to Wednesday at 8 p.m., I'm also here. If you do miss out on any of the shows, head on over to Facebook. Please, I beg you, head to Facebook and follow the page. I need to monetize the page, and the best way is to get monetized on Facebook. I'm about 100 and something people away, 110 people away from being monetized for the lives. So I really need your help in that regard. If you see an advert over there, please watch it. It does help me very much. And you can watch the previous lives and also other footballing content that I have over there. If you can, also head on over to Facebook, to YouTube, and support me there. That would also be very amazing. Number one would be to subscribe over here, but I understand that, it's a bit of money to subscribe, and we can't change that. So please help me on Facebook. Thank you guys to the panels. Thank you guys for joining me. I will see you guys tomorrow, 12:30. Let me see. Problem with the analysis, they judge Rulani not winning the MTN 8 and Nedbank. They must be mindful that Sundowns will deal with big fish, and those fish are DSTV and CAF Champions League. So we got one issue, and it seems he took Sundowns, played wonderful football. Watching live on Zeras. Thank you for joining me, Tats. Denten Malisela deserves number 4. Dentens, that's why I'm like, I don't know if I can put Dentens up there, because that's a tough conversation about Dentens. Maybe lower on. Mpumalanga Wandebele Vamuhle, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, so guys, thank you. Also, if you haven't followed, please follow the account. Please help me out there. And then I'm going to be back here again 12:30. It seems Facebook is allowing me to stream again. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for your support. If you see an advert anytime during anything, just watch the advert. I'll see you guys tomorrow.